think the Egyptian economy today is suffering from a foreign exchange market that is increasingly jammed up. And it's jammed up because there is no foreign exchange coming into the system. There's a growing gap between the official rate and the parallel rate. People are not able to get essential imports. So to be able to free that up is going to help to make the Egyptian economy work and to essentially take the shackles off the productive machinery in Egypt. So from my point of view, the sooner one can move on trying to free up the exchange market, the faster you'll begin to see some results in terms of economic activity and growth.
Is it an IMF requirement to liberalize the currency market and try not to defend a currency that is indefensible, if you will?
I think the Egyptians have themselves set this out as an objective. They're saying that they don't want to be able to use their very limited reserves in trying to defend the currency rather than in trying to make it work for the economy. And we in the IMF support them.
Before we saw the GCC states willing to make the transfer of wealth, but in a new environment of oil, are they going to start tightening the purse strings and hold the Egyptian government more accountable for diversification and reforms?
I think the GCC states have been big supporters of the process in Egypt. Their money has helped to ease the adjustment. I think what they and the Egyptian authorities and the IMF and everybody else is saying now is that you have to move also on the reform agenda in parallel, accelerate some of the things the Egyptian authorities have been doing, which would then make sure that this money and other money, money from the IMF, money from other countries, would help to actually liberate the economic potential of Egypt. It's very important to remember that a few years ago, the Egyptian economy was growing at 6+%, and the conversation was on how to try and dampen down the flow of foreign capital that was coming in and actually pushing up asset prices, pushing up the exchange rate. So I don't see a reason why we can't, given the inherent potential in Egypt, begin to realize some of the same kinds of activity.
To be more categorical, do you think that the El-Sisi government is pro-business? They put out this mandate they want to be, but we see very little in reality of the foreign direct investment and the structural reforms that the IMF and others have been pushing forward.
I think they now have a program of addressing these reforms because they see that those reforms are essential to bringing in foreign direct investment and actually, for me, even more importantly, domestic private investment, because that's ultimately going to be much, much bigger than the level of foreign investment in any country, including Egypt. So I do see that part of the agenda going forward has to be one of supporting private sector-led growth.